Welcome to Journey to Self, where we transform whispers of doubt into roars of freedom. This is your space to reclaim your voice, rediscover your power, and step boldly into the life you deserve. Let's dive in and awaken the unstoppable you. Welcome back. I am Sandy Bartlett, your host, and today we are talking about how to stop people pleasing and start setting boundaries. It's a guide to reclaiming your self worth. Have you ever caught yourself saying yes when every fiber of your being wanted to say no? Maybe it was at work, agreeing to take on yet another project. Or maybe it's with friends committing to plans when all you needed was rest. That moment of hesitation when you ignore your needs to avoid disappointing someone else is where people pleasing takes root. And here's the thing, every time you do that, you're sending a message to yourself that your needs don't matter as much as theirs. And let me tell you, that's just simply not true. And deep down, you know it. Today, we're going to talk about how to stop people pleasing and start setting those boundaries that honor your self worth. And to guide us, we are channeling the energy of the Queen of Swords, a card that invites you to see clearly, think wisely, and act boldly when it comes to your truth. So let's dive in. The Queen of Swords, and here's what it looks like for those that are watching and for those that are listening. It is a woman. She looks like she's sitting on a cushion of sorts, kind of staring off into the distance. It looks like she's got the sword, holding it in her hand, and she's just contemplating and maybe celebrating a victory or just thinking about the future. This Queen of Swords is a powerful symbol of clarity and discernment. She teaches us to see situations and ourselves with intelligence and honesty. Her energy encourages you to cut through the noise of expectations and recognize what truly matters to you. Imagine her as a reminder that your self worth isn't determined by how much you do for others. It's anchored in the clarity of knowing your own value. So let's channel this sharp, wise energy as we dive into the ways people pleasing clouds our sense of worth and how setting boundaries clears the way for authenticity. So, what is the self worth connection? In our soul dive today, we're going to talk about that. People pleasing often stems from a misunderstanding of worth. When we believe we need to earn love or acceptance, we lose sight of our intrinsic value. The Queen of Swords challenges this thinking. Her clarity reminds us that our worth isn't something we negotiate, it's something we claim. I remember a time when I agreed to help a coworker with a project that really wasn't my responsibility. I told myself it was the right thing to do, but the truth, I was afraid of being seen as difficult or unhelpful. What I lacked then was the clarity to see that my worth wasn't tied to their approval. It was already mine. So here's some steps to reclaim your self-worth through boundaries. Number one is see the patterns clearly. The Queen of Swords asks, where are you overcommitting out of fear? Write down those areas where you feel drained or undervalued. I can't emphasize enough how much writing things down helps with the clarity, and you can go back and journal about it or see how far you've come and that type of thing, but write it down. Number two, speak your truth with intelligence. Boundaries don't have to be harsh, they just need to be clear. Try, I can't take this on right now, but I hope you find the support you need. It definitely takes practice. Saying no takes practice because especially if we have that intrinsic desire that we want to help others. And a lot of that comes from our past trauma, childhood trauma. And I'll talk about trauma in other episodes, but that happens when we have things that um, happen to us as a child. Our body remembers we have those automatic responses. And one of those patterns is wanting to constantly please others and make sure everybody else is okay, which is really not our responsibility. Number 3, honor what matters most to you. Clarity comes from knowing your priorities. When you align your choices with what truly matters, you reinforce your worth. And number 4 is trust yourself to handle pushback. The Queen of Swords shows us that intelligence includes emotional strength. When others resist your boundaries, trust that you can handle their reactions with grace and confidence because you can. Just take some practice. For our whispers of wisdom, there's a saying: a sword's true strength lies not in its sharpness, but in the clarity of the one who wields it. The Queen of Swords embodies this wisdom. Her clarity cuts through confusion, reminding us that setting boundaries isn't about pushing others away, it's about making space for your truth. If you're ready to gain clarity on where your self worth is being challenged, I encourage you to get a self worth tarot reading just for you. This email based reading will explore where your self worth needs reinforcement, the energies holding you back, one practical step to align with your truth and reclaim your value. It's a gentle but powerful way to uncover what's clouding your self worth and how you can begin honoring it fully. You can request your reading via the link in the show notes. And there are 8 different selves that I offer those readings on. So let this be your moment of clear insight, just like the Queen of Swords. Here's your action step this week. Tap into the Queen of Swords clarity to set one boundary that reflects your self worth. Start by identifying one area where you feel overextended. Then use intelligent communication to express your needs. An example: I appreciate you thinking of me, but I need to prioritize other commitments right now. That's just a simple idea that you can use. Once you've set that boundary, reflect on how it feels. Were you nervous? Relieved? Did you notice the freedom it gave you to focus on your priorities? Boundaries are an ongoing practice, and every time you honor yourself, you're stepping into your worth. The Queen of Swords reminds us that clarity is our greatest ally. This week, I encourage you to use her wisdom to see through the fog of expectations and step into the truth of your self worth. Thank you so much for joining me today. Make sure to hit that follow button so you get notified of new episodes and share this show with at least one other person today. If today's episode resonated with you, I'd love to invite you to join me in my membership community, Journey to Self, The Awakening. It's a sacred space where we explore transformational healing, engage in monthly calls, and grow together. And if you'd like more tips, tools, and inspiration delivered straight to your inbox, be sure to subscribe to my mailing list. You'll find the links to both the community and the mailing list in the show notes. Thank you again for joining me on this journey. And until next time, be true to you.